KFWB HD, Los Angeles. The news you need and the information you can use. KFWB News Talk 980. Welcome to Trojans Live, the exclusive USC Trojans coaches show.
The pass to Howard off the backboard, and what a dunk by Julian Jacobs. Oh, what a play.
Behind the scenes insights and breaking news from head coaches Andy Enfield and Steve Sarkisian and the student athletes that play for the Cardinal and Gold.
Terrell bisecting the paint. Oh my goodness, a one-handed stuff.
Trojans Live is brought to you by
BMW, the ultimate driving machine. Visit SoCalBMW.com today to find a BMW center near you. By Valvoline, charge on, but visit Valvoline Instant Oil Change first. Home of the drive-through only change and proud sponsor of USC football. Visit SoCalOilChange.com for special discounts and offers. By Allstate Insurance, mayhem is everywhere. Start protecting yourself from mayhem with Allstate Insurance. By Western Exterminator, providing all-star termite and pest control you can trust for over 90 years. Western Exterminator, the final word in pest control.
Here now are Jordan Moore and John Jackson.
Hello and welcome back to Trojans Live, presented by your Southern California BMW Centers on KFWB News Talk 980. We are live at the lab to begin the spring season of Trojans Live, featuring new head football coach Steve Sarkisian, who'll sit down with us in a minute. Once again, I am Jordan Moore alongside former USC two-sport star John Jackson, and we have a host of guests tonight, including men's basketball leading scorer Byron Wesley. Play-by-play man Chris Fisher will join us later. Women's basketball guards Riot, Crook, and Breanna Barrett. And the most decorated head coach in Trojan history, men's and women's water polo head coach Jovan Vavic will join us. Let me bring in JJ now. And JJ, as USC football begins a new era under the man to your left, Steve Sarkisian, what can we expect?
Well, it's exciting. I mean, that's the one thing that I think that is, that's going to be for the Trojans. I think you're going to see an influx of offense, and it's, going more towards the modern style of offense that you're seeing all across the country in terms of a hurry-up, fast pace, sort of like what we saw last night in the national championship game where Auburn really started to get the best of Florida State. So it'll be exciting to watch, that brand of football. And also, because I think that gives you the leg up on defenses for a lot of different reasons, which is why all these great offensive coaches are running.
Well, let's find out about the new man. This segment is brought to you by your Southern California BMW Centers. Visit SoCalBMW.com today to find a BMW center near you. Coach, welcome you in here. Welcome to your show, and welcome back to L.A. where you can have a radio show outside in the month of January. It's got to be pretty nice to be back.
This is pretty good. I don't even think I need the sport coat tonight, but
Exactly.
It's great to be back. It's been a great first month, I can say that, being on the job and putting the staff together and recruiting and getting to know the team. We're obviously in a bit of a dead period right now from a recruiting standpoint, but hard not coaching football for a month. You take that month off in the bowl season, you're watching games and going to different bowl games, and obviously being at that game last night. It's been a motivating month for me, just knowing the prospects of what this team can be and what a great Vegas Bowl for these guys, and to get that 10th win. We've got a good football team, and we've got a chance to do something special this year. We need to really solidify this recruiting class and then get ourselves prepared for spring ball and get going.
Yeah, Sark, there's a couple of things I would talk about. Let's talk about coaching first.
Sure.
You gave some great acquisitions. I mean, for my favorite is, and I know that, the staff is a great staff, but, let's talk Tim Drevens. How did you get him from San Francisco? I mean, he's in San Francisco, he's in NFL, enjoying himself, living a good life, doesn't have to recruit, and then you're able to draw him to USC. That's a big get.
Tim Drevno, our new offensive line coach, run game coordinator. People don't know this, went to South Torrance High School. I went to West Torrance High School. He went to El Camino Junior College. I went to El Camino Junior College. So he has a lot of ties to Southern California. He has a lot of ties to the South Bay, the same area I'm from. We've got a lot of mutual friends. And he's a tremendous football coach. He's a hard-nosed, tough, downhill, physical run game coach. He's been with Jim Harbaugh, I think, for the last 9 years, from University of San Diego through Stanford, recruited all those linemen to Stanford, now with the 49ers. And quite honestly, when this job came about, as soon as I was reaching out to him, he was in his indirect ways reaching out to me.
Okay.
And so there was a lot of mutual interest there. Philosophically, I think we align really well. I know we'll talk more about our up-tempo offense. We're not a spread offense, which is important to know. We're still a pro-style approach in essence, but in an up-tempo fashion, and Tim really fits a lot of those things. There are some zone read principles you're watching the 49ers do now with Kaepernick and the pistol and things of that nature, so it's a great fit, and you're exactly right. I love all these guys we're getting. Some of them were a little easier to get than others coming from Washington, but to get Tim Drevno from the 49ers was a big one.
And when it came to philosophy, real quick on that, because the perception is you are a spread, more open type of style of offense, was it a complete alignment between you two? Because, from the outside looking in, you would think that it was completely different. But as you mentioned, it is more aligned than people think.
There are a lot of similarities to it. We're similar in a lot of the different schemes that we run. They're a power running team. We love to run the power play. They love to run the counter. We love to run the counter. They love to run the toss crack. We run the toss crack. I think both of us over the last couple of years have invested time into sprinkling the zone read in as part of your offense to make the defenses defend the quarterback and to defend the shotgun runs, the pistol runs, which is an area that we've invested in the last couple of years. So I think there was a natural fit. The difference was our tempo this year that we used at Washington as opposed to what they've done with the 49ers. And so we had to philosophically align there. He wants to make sure that we're still going to be a running football team. I had to assure him, I had to show him our numbers from a year ago.
I'm sure.
And our ability to run the ball and the percentage that we run the football. And obviously it's always good when you got a guy as a Doak Walker finalist. I see our running backs in Orlando and rushed for almost 1,900 yards.
A reminder to our listeners, you can jump into the show at any time by tweeting a question. Tweet a question for Coach Sark right now using the hashtag Trojans Live, and we'll see if we can get some questions from the fans to Coach on air. Let's talk about the other side of the football, and for those that haven't been on Twitter maybe in the last hour, we can break some news that you do have a defensive line coach. You filled out your staff. Bo Davis joins, and another guy comes from a great pedigree. He worked under Nick Saban for years.
Yeah, he's a great pedigree. Bo was a all SEC defensive lineman at LSU. He started coaching at LSU under Coach Saban, then followed him to the Miami Dolphins, then to Alabama, and then broke off a couple years ago, became the defensive line coach at Texas under Mack Brown. So for us to get Bo is huge. I think it really solidifies our ability to recruit down in that area where there's a lot of great defensive linemen, as we know. We watched that game last night with Auburn and Florida State, so it's going to be key for us from a recruiting standpoint to be down there. But also he's a great coach, and he's coached great players, most notably Jackson Jeffcoat there at Texas, who will be a top draft pick. So I think he brings to the room instant credibility in that defensive line room, which is big. There's a long-standing, rich history and tradition of great D-line coaches from Marv Good or Rod Malinelli. Rod Malinelli obviously up into Coach O here most recently. So we wanted to make sure we brought in a great presence in the room, a very good coach, but also a tremendous recruiter and somebody who could go into the South and really recruit some of the top defensive linemen in the country. And
let's talk a little more defense, and let's talk style of defense. Coach Wilcox, of course, comes down from Washington to join you as well. What style of defense, if you're going to describe it, how would you describe it to, let's say, a recruit that's coming in?
Well, we'll be very aggressive. We're going to be multiple up front depending on who we're playing. You have to, in our conference, the unique thing is you have to defend the zone read up tempo one week. The next week you have 11 offensive linemen on the field from Stanford the next week. So you have to defend both. We will always remain aggressive. I think one thing that people don't know about Washington this year, at one point here in the bowl season, we were leading the country in sacks with 41 sacks. I think we finished number 2 behind Louisville. So it's an aggressive style of defense, a lot of zone, but with man principles. We're aggressive on receivers. We play a lot of man principles, matching routes, matching formations, but athletic. We need athleticism on this defense, and I think our roster really has it. I'm excited for Justin to come in with the personnel that we have to really implement his defense and continue to take this thing to new heights.
Noticed a few things about this coaching staff. One of them, you got a lot of quarterbacks.
Yes.
You got you, T. Martin, Clay Helton, Marcus Tuiasosopo. So my question is, who's the best quarterback in the room?
Well, you're asking the wrong guy. That's what I'm saying. Me. That thing's loaded. But I will say this about all those guys, and philosophically for me in hiring coaches, people don't know this. Justin Wilcox was a high school quarterback. Johnny Nansen was a high school quarterback. Wow. I think quarterbacks in general have a great feel for the game. They see the game a little bit differently than just what's right in front of them. They have a feel for all 11 guys, and so as much as Johnny Nansen's coaching the running backs, he sees the big picture. Justin sees the big picture on defense. Marcus Clay, T, they see the big picture of it all. So when they go into their position groups to coach the wide receivers or the running backs or the tight ends, it's not just what's right in front of me. It's teaching the players to see the big picture of the game and understand the game of football to raise our IQ on the field so that we play really smart.
And another thing I noticed is you got a lot of young, hungry guys. I mean, you got a lot of guys that are 40 and your generation, really. I mean, how important was it for you in terms of really recruiting maybe and the emotional beat of the team of getting guys in that generation?
Well, I think it's big to relate to the players. I think it's big in the fact of, one, in recruiting. You want guys that are energized to hit the road recruiting. We obviously have a national brand here at USC. We have to remind ourselves the SC on our chest, that logo that JJ has on, is Southern California. That's where it starts in recruiting for us. But we also have a national brand, and we're able to reach all 4 points of our country. And we need guys that are willing and able and want to do that. I think the staff does that. But also with our current roster, with these current players, for them to feel the connection, that they can go in their coach's office, that they can relate to them, that they're there with them, they've been through it, they understand what they're going through on a daily basis. And so I love this coaching staff. I think it's like I said at the press conference, we're going to go out and try to hire one of the best staffs in America, and I think we can honestly say that now that it's fully executed.
We can't talk individual recruits, but we can talk about the guys that are already committed. The guys that are the early enrollees, now that you have them in, how excited are you to have those guys in place?
Well, we don't start until next week, quite honestly. We have one in that's already here. Claude Pellin, we felt like was a top defensive lineman in America, junior college defensive lineman in America. I think he's going to be an immediate help for us. We have 4 more coming here.
Right.
Next Monday I can talk about them as we get going. But we're excited about those guys, too. I think they fill needs for us. I think they'll be beneficial to have in spring practice to where they can continue to develop. And really this entire class has got to be that way, JJ. We need 19 guys that can come in and solidify depth on our roster at some real positions in need. And of these 19 guys, there's going to be guys that are going to have a significant role on this roster come next fall when we take the field against Fresno.
Yeah, and you have a month till signing day. So give us, obviously, we can't talk about specifics, but when we say that you're trying to close out this class, that you're trying to close in the next month, what are sort of the mechanics of that? What's your next month look like?
Well, for me, we're in a dead period up until next Thursday, January 16th. So when you really think about it, we only have from January 16th, we have about 2 weeks to get everything done in this last class. And so for me, it's the home visit time, right? It's going into the homes of the recruits, visiting with their parents, getting them here on official visits. And so it's an action-packed time. There's not a lot of sleep. There's a lot of plane flights and car rides and all that, but it's an exciting time. It's like the fourth quarter and the game's on the line. There's about 4 minutes left, and you got to make it happen. So we've got to be really well organized. We got to make sure we're targeting all the right kids. We got to make sure that our contingency plans are in place. We'd love to get all the guys, but if you don't get one, okay, who's the next guy that we're going to make sure that there's a really quality player there next. So it's a great time. That's what we were doing for the second half of today, and that we're going to start right back up with tomorrow morning with the staff.
Well, the next time we talk to you on Trojans Live, it'll be the day after signing day, and we'll get an opportunity for you to wrap up this class. So season tickets go on sale tomorrow, usctrojans.com/tickets. You'll also be emailed if you want to renew your season tickets. So we thank you, the first of many appearances here for Steve Sarkisian on Trojans Live. We appreciate it, Coach. Enjoy dinner with your family. And coming up next, we're going to have Byron Wesley. We're right next to his house here at the Galen Center. Coming back at you on from the lab.
Aguilar in short motion. Look out. Kessler winds, throws. Aguilar wide open. He's got it. Touchdown, USC!
The countless hours of training, the cheering crowds, and the thrill of victory. None of that would be possible without your help. As a proud partner of the U.S. Olympic and Paralympic teams, BMW will make a donation to support Team USA. All you have to do is test drive the BMW 320i, 5 Series, or any of our thrilling vehicles. BMW Drive for Team USA. We only make one thing, the ultimate driving machine.
See a Southern California BMW Center today for a test drive or visit SoCalBMW.com.
Sounds like that's getting worse.
From mild ailments to something more serious, HealthNet is here for you. We provide affordable health coverage that you and your family deserve. With plan benefits that include doctor visits, prescriptions, immunizations, and even free physical exams, HealthNet gives you peace of mind. Look to HealthNet for affordable health coverage for you and your family. We are your HealthNet.
HealthNet of California, Inc. and HealthNet Life Insurance Company are subsidiaries of HealthNet, Inc.
Trojan fans, each season the schedule is filled with pesky opponents looking to bring you down. But when that yellow truck and the little man with the hammer pulls up to your home or place of business to battle your bug opponent, insects and pests have no chance. For over 90 years, Western Exterminator has been in the trenches, dominating every matchup and every battle of the bug, which is why true Trojan fans know that Western Exterminator is the final word in pest control. Valvoline Instant Oil Change is the home of the drive-through oil change. They understand you're busy and have a lot to get done in a day. You're a Trojan and have places to be. That is why at Valvoline Instant Oil Change, you drive in, not even getting out of your car, and drive out in about 15 minutes. As a proud sponsor of USC football, Valvoline Instant Oil Change would like to give a special deal to all the Trojan fans in Southern California. Visit SoCalOilChange.com for special offers and discounts. That's SoCalOilChange.com.
Chaz Bryant, top of the key, drives, dishes, and a dunk by Byron Wesley.
That's Byron Wesley, and we've got him right here. USC men's basketball's leading scorer at 17 a game, 7 boards a game. It's Byron Wesley live on Trojans Live. Byron, let's start with the good stuff. Obviously not coming off a great game, but it's been a pretty solid season so far for the Trojans. 9-5, some quality non-conference wins. How do you rate the way the team has played to this point?
Up until last game, I've been real pleased with our team. We've came in. We've played really hard this season, and I think we've got some pretty good wins. Never good to fall to your rivals, but we have a long season left, and we have 2 big games coming up this week.
How enjoyable is it playing in Coach Infield's, style of offense? It's up and down, it's exciting. For you being a scorer, what is that? How exciting is it to play in this system?
It's just really fun. Coach Infield, he really wants you to just play free and easy, and I think that's great for all the young players we have on our team and all the veterans as well. Everybody just likes being out on the court, and I think when you like playing and when you're having fun, it makes everybody play better.
You were sort of thrust into the big scoring role as a freshman when there just weren't a whole lot of bodies. Now I feel like you're ready for it this junior season. I mean, how much have you taken that leadership role off the court but also on the court in leading this team?
Being here for 3 years now, just having all the veterans before me kind of show me the way. And Coach talked to me about coming in and being a leader early in the season. I'm still working at it, still have a long ways to go. But just trying to lead by example and not necessarily be the vocal leader.
Okay, and that's what I was going to ask you. Is it, now that you are leading the team in scoring, does it put any extra pressure on you night in and night out to have to play at that high level? I mean, do you actually feel that yourself?
Not necessarily. I think it all just comes from the preparation that I put into it. I feel confident every time I step out on the court, and I know that my teammates are going to do a real good job of putting me in situations to score, and my coaches have been doing a really good job of setting offenses and just running plays to get me involved early.
Yeah, we talk about your scoring, but one of the areas where you've really taken on a lot of the load is rebounding. I mean, how much of a focus was it going into this season? You're leading the team in rebounding. I think you're 14th in the conference in rebounding, and you're a wing basically. So that obviously a rare thing for a wing to lead his team in rebounding.
I've always thought I was a pretty good rebounder. My first 2 years, I couldn't really offensive rebound, which I felt was a big part of my game. This year, Coach Infield, he was really on me tough. Preseason about crashing the offensive rebounds, getting a lot of putbacks and easy buckets. So I think that's made it a lot easier for my team, and hopefully I can just keep rebounding and helping my team.
How has the conditioning changed for you guys, this year even compared to in years past? Getting ready for this up-tempo style, because in order to play this style, you have to obviously be ready for it.
We got a new strength coach. He came in the spring and really was working us hard all summer. We were up at 6, 7 a.m. every day this summer. On the track a little bit, doing a lot of plyometrics, we're even doing some boxing this summer. So, it was really fun, and I think he's geared us for another level to where we're able to match the style of play.
And one of the things you have to do in this style of play, too, is shoot the 3 ball, and that, frankly, was not one of your strengths coming into USC, and you have made yourself into a really good 3-point shooter. How have you done it over the last 2-3 years?
My first year was a lot of motivation. KO wouldn't even let me shoot threes, and so that having that year happen, I just really worked hard, the next 2 years. I think I made a pretty big stride my freshman to my sophomore year. And my junior year, I just wanted to keep working on it. My percent's not where it needs to be right now, but I'm in the gym working, so hopefully I can work on that.
Talk about a little bit how this team is sort of gelling together. When you started the season, of course, you got off to a loss to start the season, but then you got on a nice little run. Then you beat Xavier when you guys went to the Bahamas, and, that's obviously some quality wins. And then you've won 5 of the last 7. Talk about the maturity of the team, of how that's coming around in terms of how you guys are gelling together, because it's a new system for everybody.
I think everybody is fairly new to this whole style in all the players that we have, but I think that we're slowly starting to come together as a team. We have a lot of young players, a lot of good young players, and I think that once we can all get on the same page on a nightly basis, I think that we'll start being able to get some really good win streaks going.
Before you came on, JJ mentioned the name Jordan McLaughlin, who's a top point guard who's coming in next year. This freshman class already, I think, has been really impressive with Julian Jacobs and Nicola. You have another year left. How excited are you for the future of this program? Also, 2 transfers we should mention that are sitting out right now, 2 Caton and Darian. So, there's a lot of talent coming into this program quickly.
This program's looking really promising right now. Our coaches have done a great job recruiting. I actually played with Jordan in high school when I was a senior. He was a freshman. So
keeping the Etowah pipeline alive.
Yeah, so we're just trying to keep that going. When he gets here, he'll be a freshman. And he's a really talented player. I saw great things when he was just a freshman. He's so young at that level that I knew he was going to be good down the line. Kind of always had a feeling he was going to come to SC. He was always up here recruiting, and I was always kind of in his ear a little bit. So
as it should be.
Yeah, right. So just glad we could get another fellow Etowah player in here.
And I was going to ask this, to go along with those same lines with Jordan. You guys complement each other. He's a point guard distributor, and you're obviously a scorer. When you had that time with him, how well did you guys play together, or play off of each other, I should say?
We played pretty good. Jordan actually was the backup point guard, and he played a lot of minutes when I was a senior. So he was able to come in the game, and he looks to distribute first, which I think is a really great quality. But at the same time, if you lay off him or if you don't play him aggressively, he can score at will. So I think he's going to bring a lot into this program. 2
big games this week. Arizona State on Thursday night at 7 p.m. and then the number 1 team in the nation is coming here on Sunday at 6. And this conference, never a night off. You excited for what this weekend holds?
Yeah, the Pac-12 has been great this year. We're just looking to bounce back Thursday. We're not pleased with the performance we had Sunday, so we had a really hard practice today. And just trying to lock in and get ready for this game Thursday.
All right, we're looking forward to it. Remember, GetTrojanTix.com, and you can see Byron in person. Tonight's highlights are courtesy of 710 ESPN. We're going to switch from basketball back to football a little bit in the next segment, then back to basketball, back and forth we go tonight on Trojans Live. Welcome back. KFWB News Talk 980.
So we originally went to the dealership to buy a Explorer, and we ended up trading both of our Toyotas, a Sienna and a Camry, and walked out with 2 new Fords.
Mike Savage is a landscape architect, and Ford just restyled his front yard.
My driveway is the best-looking driveway in town with our new Explorer and a new Fusion. It has our neighbors jealous. With all the technological features of my new Fusion, you would expect to find that in a much more expensive car, but at the price that I got, it's remarkable. I like just the performance of the car. The Fusion's new EcoBoost engine's really, really quick. It's a lot of power, and I just love that sports car feel. But I still get the fuel economy of a 4-cylinder engine.
The new Ford Fusion. Technology, performance, and styling that leads the field.
Just yesterday, I was told by a valet attendant that my Fusion looked like a European sports car.
Ford. More cars, more engines, more ways to go further. 2-liter EcoBoost, EPA estimated 22 city MPG.
KFWB News Talk 980, in association with your local McDonald's restaurants, are raising money for Ronald McDonald House Charities of Southern California this season. Follow along and cheer on your Los Angeles Clippers as they step to the charity stripe during each game. For every free throw that the Clippers make this season, KFWB will donate $1 to Ronald McDonald House Charities of Southern California. We will update the free throws made and the dollars raised after every Clippers game on KFWB.com. For more than 35 years, Ronald McDonald House Charities have locally provided comfort, care, and support to families in their time of need. KFWB News Talk 980 and Ronald McDonald House Charities of Southern California joining together this Clippers season.
Now back to Trojans Live from the lab. Here are Jordan Moore and John Jackson.
Jordan Moore and John Jackson live at the lab. It's Trojans Live, and we're going to wrap the season up with JJ and start looking ahead. Spring ball, signing day, good things coming for the USC football program. And JJ, a 10-win season when it was all said and done. It took 3 or 4 coaches to get it done, but you impressed with the resilience of this crew, that made it through all that turmoil, came on the other end with a pretty good season.
I think it went to show how much character this group had, within them that needed to be brought out. I couldn't be more prouder than, the season that the Trojans were able to put together. And, every time adversity sort of hit this team in the face, they've responded. And that's always a good sign, not only for, their college career here at USC, their record in the bowl game and all that kind of stuff, but just as individual people. That's why you come to college, right? You're going to face adversity. You have to get over it, find a way to work through it. And that's exactly what this group did.
Well, adversity is going to take its toll already on next year's season. Hate to use the term mass exodus, but a lot of these juniors have decided to move on, and you can sort of understand everything they've been through. A lot of them are redshirt juniors too, so a lot of them, they've had their degrees, but the things they've been through in 3 or 4 years, they've obviously decided to take their talents to the next level. So where do they go from here? The numbers, do you see them really getting pretty scary next year?
Yeah, it's going to be tough. Sark is going to have to rely on a lot of incoming freshmen. So he's really, right now is a critical time for him. He has to recruit extremely well now because these guys are going to have to play early in their careers, if not next year. And so in order to do that, you have to make sure you're getting guys that can make that change. And oftentimes when you recruit, you have 2 different philosophies. Some guys you bring in, like a John Jackson, that is going to play later in his career. Yeah. He's not ready to play right now. And some guys you're going to bring in that you can say, okay, like a Marquise Lee or something, he can play right now. So he's going to have to get a whole bunch of Marquise Lees, right? At this point, he's got to get guys that can play right now.
I don't know how many Marquise Lees grow on trees, unfortunately. We can't talk about specific players, but if you start looking at position groups, what would you focus on at what areas really need immediate attention?
Well, a lot of them are going to depend on how many guys leave. But, at first we thought the defense, which was outstanding this year, we thought they were going to be solid. Well, they already have 3 guys, 2 guys and probably some more guys in the future that are going to, commit to go to the NFL. So you could have some immediate voids. Remember, this was a defense that was good, but it was a 12, 13 deep defense that was good, right? There wasn't a lot of depth from the beginning.
They literally played 13 guys in the Stanford game and really only 12. One guy played 1 snap. So.
Exactly. So now every guy that leaves means an immediate void that was already there if the guy would have gotten hurt or anything else would have happened this year. So that's a big, huge problem on the defensive side. I think you have to shore that side up because you can't stop anybody. You're not going to beat anybody.
Some coaches that people were big fans of, and we'll take a tweet here from Ryan Shabazi, who wants to know any particular reason why John Baxter was not retained. He feels he was the best special teams coach in the country. Similar, questions about Clancy Pendergast. Now, new staff comes in. How much do you feel like it was important for Sark to bring in his own guys and just start this thing anew?
Well, what people don't understand is that, and I don't know why the NCAA has done this, but there's a limit on the number of coaches that you can have. And no matter how you slice it or try to dissect it, you have to make a choice on what kind of staff you're going to put together. And the choice becomes this. Do you value having a special teams coach full-time committed to it, or do you add a tight end coach and then some people would go without a tight end coach? The problem is, if you have a position without a coach assigned to that position, then you can't have a meeting, right? Because somebody has to lead the meeting. And the receivers don't want to sit in the running back meeting, and you can't have guys doing double duty. So you have to have a quarterback coach. You have to have each of these positions sort of separated out. And so that becomes the problem. So there's always one tough choice you have to make on how you're going to handle special teams, either with one coach dedicated to it full time, like Baxter, or what Sark has chosen to do, which is split the special teams duty amongst the coaches that already coach positions, and Coach Nansen will take the helm at that, but other guys will share in those special teams duties.
And we talk about Pendergast leaving, but I think if when they were hiring Pendergast, if they had said, we're going to bring in Justin Wilcox, this is one of the rising coaching stars in the profession, he should be pretty exciting. What do you look for from him, really, in terms of his scheme? They say multiple. Tell us what that means.
Well, that was the good news for me, because if he'd have said 4-3, I'd have said, oh, wait a minute, we got to make a coaching change. But I think that the fact that he is a multiple guy, and Sark hit it right on the head. In this conference, you have to play odd fronts, especially against the spread teams, and you have to play even fronts against some of the teams that, to go the 3 receivers and all that kind of stuff, some passing teams. So you have to play both. Coach Pendergast played both. But the fact that he's going to be in an odd front, or his ability to get to an odd front, that's the good news about this whole story. And Coach Wilcox, as you mentioned, is one of the rising stars coming up.
And then on the offensive side, I think a lot of people are under the misconception that Steve Sarkisian is going to run an offense very similar to Lane Kiffin. I really think it sounds like he has evolved a lot, and his offense has evolved a lot since he left USC. And I think that's the key when you watch these BCS bowl games. SC needs to start playing more like where college football has gone.
The up-tempo is definitely a big advantage, and also running the football. All good teams that you see across the nation run the football. They're not just throwing the ball willy-nilly all over the place. So that's the good thing. Sark emphasized that. The addition of Coach Drevno, I think, is a huge addition to the staff because he's a guy that came from Stanford and 49ers. He knows how to run the football. That's a great addition. I think this team will be power football.
Thank you, Ryan Chabazi, for your tweet. It's brought to you by Allstate Insurance. Football players rely on lots of coaches, quarterbacks, running backs, and special teams, just to name a few. But for insurance, you only need one coach, an Allstate agent. They'll help you with your insurance game plan. Call L.A. area Allstate agent Tyler Cross or Spirit Insurance Services today. We're talking football. We're talking hoops when we come back on Trojans Live at the Lab.
Hey, it's Tim McGraw. I spend a lot of time on the road. It connects me to all the things that I love. My family, my fans, my career. That's why I love performing my new song, Highway Don't Care. It just hits home. I want to be the best that I can be for my teenage daughters and my fans. That's why I'm taking the pledge to never text and drive. Find your reason and take the pledge at itcanwait.com. No text is worth the risk. It can wait.
Valvoline Instant Oil Change is the home of the drive-thru oil change. They understand you're busy and have a lot to get done in a day. You're a Trojan and have places to be. That is why at Valvoline Instant Oil Change, you drive in, not even getting out of your car, and drive out in about 15 minutes. As a proud sponsor of USC football, Valvoline Instant Oil Change would like to give a special deal to all the Trojan fans in Southern California. Visit SoCalOilChange.com for special offers and discounts. That's SoCalOilChange.com.
Mayhem is everywhere.
I'm an over-enthusiastic football fan. We just beat one of the worst teams, but I'm walking out of the stadium celebrating like we just wrapped up a perfect season. I'm so blind with excitement, I don't notice when I step into traffic and you have to swerve to miss me. So get Allstate, where agents help keep you protected from mayhem, like me.
In Pomona, call Allstate agent Adrian Fredericks today, subject to terms, conditions, and availability. Are you in good hands?
Sounds like that's getting worse.
From mild ailments to something more serious, HealthNet is here for you. We provide affordable health coverage that you and your family deserve. With plan benefits that include doctor visits, prescriptions, immunizations, and even free physical exams, HealthNet gives you peace of mind. Look to HealthNet for affordable health coverage for you and your family. We are your HealthNet.
HealthNet of California, Inc. and HealthNet Life Insurance Company are subsidiaries of HealthNet, Inc.
The countless hours of training, the cheering crowds, and the thrill of victory. None of that would be possible without your help. As a proud partner of the U.S. Olympic and Paralympic teams, BMW will make a donation to support Team USA. All you have to do is test drive the BMW 320i, 5 Series, or any of our thrilling vehicles. BMW Drive for Team USA. We only make one thing, the ultimate driving machine.
See a Southern California BMW Center today for a test drive or visit SoCalBMW.com.
Wesley slashing, uncontested, all the way to the bucket, and he lays it up and in.
That's the voice of Chris Fisher, the voice of the USC men's basketball team. I'm Jordan Moore with John Jackson, and Chris Fisher joins us here on set. And Fish, sum up what you've seen so far. A 9-5 start obviously was a rough day at Pauley Pavilion on Sunday, but for the most part, it's been a pretty good start.
Wait, not even a hello, guys?
Oh,
I want an introduction. I got to say, this is the first time I've been
you.
here, and it's really great to see you guys, and I've heard nothing but good things about all you guys have.
It's all rumor.
Now I'm here. I get to see it up close and personal.
Well, we don't invite you on because you got that great voice, and then you just make us sound bad, you know?
Stop. 9-5, and if you were to tell the coaching staff and probably a lot of people around this program, would they take 9-5? They'd take it in a second. And you look at the schedule, they played some good teams. They got some quality wins. I look at the schedule, and I really don't think that there's any bad losses on that schedule. Long Beach State was disappointing, but it's still on the road, and they're better than 1-9, and they're going to pick up some wins along the way.
They went from 1-9 to 4-9 now.
Yeah,
so
real quickly.
Along.
They're going to get some wins along the way that are going to make that loss look a lot better than it really is. But to me, the biggest part of 9-5 was the win against Dayton. And you're trying to turn the Titanic around right now and get the currents going the other way, and that was the type of game that can do it. And it was big, and it was fun to be a part of. So I think the coaching staff is pretty happy, even getting blown out by 30 by UCLA, that 9-5 they'll take it.
Yeah, what do you think happened?
What didn't happen? Everything that possibly could have gone wrong
Murphy's
went
Law.
wrong.
Right.
But this team has gone through games like this before. We saw it in Utah State. You're thinking, boy, are they ever going to get a win all year? And then they got blown out against Villanova and Wake Forest, and you're thinking, are they ever going to get a win in conference? But every single time that they've gone through a game like that, they've been able to come back and show some resistance and ultimately come back and get some important wins and to just completely put it behind them, which I think is credit to the coaching staff.
And that's where my question comes in, because you're right. They didn't play well against Villanova or Wake Forest, but then they beat Xavier on the way out of town. And then you're saying, okay, well, which team is this? Is the reason for that up and down because of the new coach, the new system that they're trying to get used to, or is it players trying to gel together? Is there one specific thing that you can put
combo? I mean, they're learning each other, and if you look at the makeup of this team, it's got some experienced guys and it's got some really young guys, and these young guys got to realize you can't take plays off at this level. You can take plays off when you're a senior in high school, and you can get away with maybe falling back on defense and not getting into your stance and little things like that. But at this level, there's just too much talent out there, and you'll get exposed so quick. You got to be ready every single night. It doesn't matter who you're playing. And I got to tell you, Northern Arizona and Bakersfield are not easy games. So they got to just realize that every single night you got to bring it, and they certainly didn't bring it on Sunday, and it got exposed.
And the Northern Arizonas and Bakersfield are over. This conference is loaded. You start looking for bounce-back victories, and they'll be looking for one on Thursday, but you're going to have an NBA first-round draft pick point guard coming in for Arizona State. You don't get that one. You got the number one team in the nation coming in on Sunday, and then your prize after that is you get to go to Colorado, a top 25 team, and Utah is off to a great start. So, I mean, how good is this league right now?
You know what? The league is finally getting the credit that for many years we wanted to have. I mean, it was bad for a couple of years there, and Washington won the conference and didn't even get into the tournament. 2 teams the year after that, and the Mountain West is just piling up wins against the Pac-12. It was not pretty. But you look up and down the conference, there's just talent. And there's guys who I'm looking forward to seeing. I can't wait to watch Shaheed Carson come in on Thursday night. I cannot wait for Arizona to come in on Sunday.
Big-time players.
Because there's talent, and there's guys that are going to be moving on to the next level. And that's really what this conference, Brandon and I talk about it quite a bit, that's what this conference has really been about, is getting up and down the floor with big-time playmakers who just love to showcase their skills. That's what Southern California basketball has always been. It's what Pac-12 basketball has always been. And finally, the conference has those type of guys.
And that's what I want to talk about as well and get your opinion on is style. The style of Coach Enfield, how does that fit? Does it fit in or is it contrast? How does it fit into this conference? Okay.
It's perfect. He's going to be looking to get up and down. He wants to score points. He wants to keep the possessions going, and they've done a pretty good job of that. They're in the top 25 in terms of seconds per possession. But the more that he gets his guys to run the kind of system, and they're not a great shooting team right now, and for his system to be completely in place, they got to be able to drive and dish, and they got to be able to knock down some threes, which was a big part of Florida Gulf Coast last year in the tournament. And once they're able to get some shooters, it'll be more of what Andy Enfield wants to do. But he's not going to have a hard time getting guys to come play at USC in an up-and-down style. Right. I mean, who doesn't want to play up and down and just get up and down the floor and do that, the alley-oop stuff?
Yeah. Right. It leads to my next question, too, which is I saw a great tweet from Steve Fryer today, who's been covering high school sports in Orange County and L.A. forever, and he tweeted that Jordan McLaughlin was nominated to the McDonald's All-American game. A point guard that Wanda USC signee called him the best prep point guard he's seen in 23 years. So the question is, how quickly can Andy Enfield get this program into the upper echelon of the conference, and obviously it starts maybe with this kid coming in next year.
It starts with players,
yeah.
And you hear stuff like that. I haven't had an opportunity to see him play, but when you hear stuff like that, how do you not get excited?
Yeah.
How do you not say, boy, these guys are going to be able to go to the next level and compete with some of the top teams in the conference like Arizona and UCLA? I mean, how can you not be excited? I think the most important thing about getting a guy like Jordan McLaughlin is that guys will follow. Once they see the first domino fall is like, okay, it is okay to go to USC. It's not that bad. And
breaks the dam open.
Yeah, it kind of breaks the dam open. When you get one of those top players, other top players will, A, want to play with him, and B, want to kind of follow in those footsteps. We saw it with Tim early on. Once you start getting one, you're going to get more than one, and hopefully that's what happens here.
Well, thank you, Chris Fisher. You can hear Chris on the radio calling Thursday night's game against Arizona State, 7 o'clock here at Galen Center, then Sunday, 6 p.m., hosting Arizona. Game on. Make your move today to the Lorenzo, the most talked-about apartment community at the University of Southern California. Brand new upscale student living is waiting for you. Hurry. Spaces are going fast. Don't miss out. Immediate occupancy. Visit thelorenzo.com or call 213-863-4307. We talk some men's basketball. Time to talk some women's basketball. The hottest team in the department right now, 3-0 in the Pac-12. Coming up, Breanna, Barrett, and Crook next on Trojans Live.
This new year, do something you have always dreamed of doing. Say no to contacts and glasses and yes to Laser Eye Center. When you have better equipment, better trained doctors, you get better results and better vision. Laser Eye Center has mastered the gift of better vision since 1986. Voted #1 in poll after poll, they've done over 200,000 procedures. Get your eyes done and be back to work the very next day. This new year, they have an incredible offer for you. Laser Eye Center is offering 0-down, interest-free financing for 36 months for all laser custom LASIK. The ultimate technology in the world today for $58 per month per eye. Laser Eye Center has convenient locations throughout Southern California. So call right now and ask about the KFWB special offer. Set up your free consultation at a value of $250. 844-88-LASIK. That's 844-885-2745. That's 844-885-2745. Or go to lasereyecenter.com. When experience counts, they're the ones to see.
Laser Eye Center. Sounds like that's getting worse.
From mild ailments to something more serious, HealthNet is here for you. We provide affordable health coverage that you and your family deserve. With plan benefits that include doctor visits, prescriptions, immunizations, and even free physical exams, HealthNet gives you peace of mind. Look to HealthNet for affordable health coverage for you and your family. We are your HealthNet.
HealthNet of California, Inc. and HealthNet Life Insurance Company are subsidiaries of HealthNet, Inc.
Trojan fans, each season the schedule is filled with pesky opponents looking to bring you down. But when that yellow truck and the little man with the hammer pulls up to your home or place of business to battle your bug opponent, insects and pests have no chance. For over 90 years, Western Exterminator has been in the trenches, dominating every matchup and every battle of the bug, which is why true Trojan fans know that Western Exterminator is the final word in pest control.
Continental Tire is driving performance for you. Whether driving to the game, dropping the kids off at practice, or commuting to work, Continental makes the right tire for your vehicle. Our tires are designed with Eco Plus technology to deliver shorter stopping distances on wet roads and tremendous long wear. Plus, improved fuel efficiency that can actually save you money over the life of the tire. Visit ContinentalTire.com to find out how much money you can save or to find a retailer near you. Continental Tire, exclusive tire of the Trojans.
Now back to Trojans Live from the lab.
Two guests with us now, two members of the Women of Troy. It's Crook and Breanna Barrett, two guards that have really keyed this great start to the Pac-12. Way to go, ladies. 3-0 start. Where did this come from? Because it was sort of up and down in the non-conference, and all of a sudden you get in there and you take out the Bruins, which we always love to see, and then two great wins against a ranked Colorado team, and then and obviously an awesome end to that Utah game the other night. So how do you feel like this team has come together and hit this surge?
Well, I figured that we found our identity coming into the conference, being 3-0. We kind of did the same thing last season, but then fell way short towards like our fifth game. So we just trying to work our way up to the top instead of going bottom like we did last season.
You know, Bree, the one thing I like about this team is you guys emphasize defense. Is that Coach Cooper really instilling that defense in you guys?
Definitely. All Coach tells us during practice is our defense fuels our offense. And so she preaches to us every day about defense in practice, defense in the game before the game starts. She puts emphasis on that, definitely.
Did it take some time to adjust to her systems or her new style? How has the adjustment been for both of you?
Well, in the beginning, me and Coach Cooper butt heads. We had our ups, really ups, and then we had our downs. And so her coming in did a wonderful thing for us. We're a more better defensive team than we were last season, and we just, like I said, we're just trying to stride up.
Do you have to have a thick skin around her, too? Because she'll let you hear her, right, if you do something wrong?
Well, she's like another mother, so, like, she knows, like, when to push our buttons and when not to. So it's just fun being around her. She's more of a teaching-type coach than just a regular, just hard coach.
Yeah.
Bree, what are your thoughts?
She definitely brings a lot of energy to our practices, to our games, instills a lot of confidence in us as players. So I think compared to last year, energy-wise, we know how to pick it up. When she tells us to pick it up, we've definitely listened to what she's saying and taken it in. And I think we're off to a good start.
You know, this team, to me, seems to play with a little bit more, confidence might not be the right word, but a little bit more, you walk out there, with your chest poked out. I guess that's the best way to put it. Is that instilled in you from from practice and stuff like that, or is it just part of or is it just part of practicing hard and getting better?
Well, like Coach said, we have to find our swag. So.
There you go. That's what I was looking for. Some swag. Okay. So there's a little bit more swag with this team.
Definitely.
Okay.
Yes. So with our swag, as she would say, we have more confidence with one another instead of playing individual ball like we did last year. When one person is down, we pick her up. It's not like, oh, she's down, we're not going to talk to her. It's more like, come on, like, pick it up, we got this, and we just sticking it together.
Well, you're down in another way right now. How's your hamstring? They've had to pick it up for you the last couple of games. How you feeling?
I'm feeling much better. I'm not going to play this week. Hopefully I can come back on the court next week. But like Breanna did this past game, just dribbling it up, setting the team up, doing what she have to do, and I have more confidence in this team without me.
Breanna, talk about that. You really picked it up, particularly that Utah game. This was a crazy game. You guys were down 7 late, and then you end the game on a 17-2 run. You were in the middle of the whole thing. What was said in some timeout? What all of a sudden, what lit the fire?
Coaches told us to pick our heads up. Game's not over. And the team, my teammates, everyone's telling us we need to pick it up. The game's not over. We need to play some defense, play some hard defense for the last 7 minutes, 5 minutes of the game, and then confidence, and everyone was doing better.
Now that you guys are off to a good start, how much do you guys, pay attention to what else is happening around the conference? I mean, now that you're on top, sort of the target, does that change your mentality going into these games?
Coach tells us take it one game at a time. So we basically have tunnel vision for our next opponent. We're getting set up for our next opponent. We're focusing on what we have to do next and just taking it one step at a time.
Well, last one, I want to let you guys debate it. I was doing some research on you. Now, Breanna, you list your favorite player as Michael Jordan. Araya listed as Kobe Bryant.
Oh.
So you guys can go like a little PTI now. Tell me who the greatest player of all time is.
Michael Jordan. There's no competition on that one.
Kobe Bryant.
Well, we appreciate it. You both playing like MJ and Kobe this season. Hopefully it keeps up. You're headed to Arizona, the Arizona schools this weekend, a ranked Arizona State team in Arizona. So stay hot in the Pac-12 down in the desert. This month is January at Subway Restaurant, and you can get any regular footlong sub with all the toppings you want for just $5 each all month long. Subway, eat fresh. Araya Cook, Breanna Barrett, thank you so much. When we come back, we're going to close out Trojans Live. Our final guest, Jovan Vavic, one of the greatest coaches in the history of USC athletics, will be calling in.
Here's some good news from Sacramento. The state has just extended the use of Diamond Lane stickers until 2019. Just when you thought these were going away, you suddenly have a new opportunity to buy or lease a Ford Fusion Energy or a Ford C-Max Energy. You could be sailing along in the Diamond Lane without a passenger for another 5 years. Both the Fusion Energy and C-Max Energy have an EPA estimated rating of 108 city, 92 highway, and 100 mpge combined, which means both the Ford Fusion and C-Max Energy models can get you from LA to San Diego and back for about $20. Do your own search on the internet. Check out the plug-in energy models from Ford. Then head to your Ford dealer and test drive one of these remarkable automobiles. MPGE is the EPA equivalent measure of gasoline fuel efficiency for electric mode operation. Your actual mileage will vary. For Diamond Lane qualifications, visit www.arb.ca.gov.
Valvoline Instant Oil Change is the home of the drive-through oil change. They understand you're busy and have a lot to get done in a day. You're a Trojan and have places to be. That is why at Valvoline Instant Oil Change, you drive in, not even getting out of your car, and drive out in about 15 minutes. As a proud sponsor of USC football, Valvoline Instant Oil Change would like to give a special deal to all the Trojan fans in Southern California. Visit SoCalOilChange.com for special offers and discounts. That's SoCalOilChange.com.
Mayhem is everywhere.
I'm the football your buddy fired through your windshield. The cooler that tumbled out of a pickup and onto the hood of your car. If you're a football fan, eventually we're going to meet. So get Allstate, where agents help keep you protected from mayhem. Like me.
Are you in good hands?
Start protecting yourself from mayhem. In Paramount, call Allstate agent Richard Cross today. Subject to terms, conditions, and availability.
Now more Trojans Live.
Back on Trojans Live, Jordan Moore and John Jackson, and we are thrilled to be joined by a guest we've been trying to get in for a while. Unfortunately, he's too busy winning national championships. 13-time national champion head coach Jovan Vavic. Jovan, you are now the most decorated head coach in USC history in any sport. What does that mean to you when I say that to you?
It's pretty unreal. I really followed USC's coach's accomplishments for many years now, and I'm a big fan of USC's athletics. So when you say that, it's kind of unbelievable to me.
You know, Coach, six-peat. I didn't even know that was a word, right? But they have now officially made it a word to six-peat. Of course, you know, with the men's team winning their sixth straight NCAA championship. I know that all these teams are great, but talk about this one in particular and what made this season so special.
You know, this team really wasn't the best team we had in the last 6 years. This is probably one of our weaker teams in terms of talent, but it was very determined and a very tough team. We had some injuries and some adversity throughout the year, and some of the guys really stepped up at the end. Jeremy Davey, my son Nicola, our goalie, Kostas, Russell Renteria, they really stepped up when we needed them the most. This is one of those teams that you look and say, okay, do we really continue? Can we really win this year with this team? And I was extremely impressed with them at the end. In the beginning, it was a battle to try to get them to be to work together. It wasn't really an easy year for us, to be honest with you, with injuries and everything that happened. But then at the end, the leadership of our upperclassmen really was the key.
Yeah, you know, it's amazing. You've won 6 consecutive in the men's, and you won the women's this year. And what stands out to me is it'd be one thing if you were winning all these matches 25-5, but you're winning by the smallest of margins. I mean, the women's went into triple overtime, if I remember correctly. You know, each time I watch you in the men's national championship, it's coming down to one goal, and we always seem to be on the right end of it. How is that possible? How have you found a way to win by these fine margins?
I really don't know the answer to that, to be honest with you. I lost, and our teams lost plenty of games in the beginning of my coaching career, just like that. In the last second, people don't know, in 2006, we lost 2 national championships, one with men and one with women, on a last-second shot. So what has changed is maybe a little bit of luck, maybe a little bit of better recruiting, maybe a little better players, but I really can't give you an answer. I just know that we are doing the same thing now that we did 10, 15 years ago. We really didn't change much, and sometimes the ball bounces your way.
You know, Coach, one thing is, you know, water polo is excruciating to play. I mean, you know, it's the toughest sport, in my opinion, to play from a physical standpoint. And one thing that you guys have done, in my opinion, is created obviously a level of consistency. Is there anything you can point to that creates that level of consistency that, you know, all of your teams sort of play with and the mentality that they play with? Because it becomes more mental, almost it becomes just as much mental as it is physical.
Well, water polo is really more physical, in my opinion, than mental. And if there is one reason why we win those close matches is exactly what you just mentioned. I do think that we train not necessarily harder than everybody else, because I think everybody trains hard. I think the bottom line is to train smarter and really know when to go hard, when to recover. I think most people really don't understand the importance of recovery. Everybody can kill the horse. You know, you can really go and kill the horse and run him to ground. But I think the secret of successful program and a successful team is how well you recover when you really, really train hard. And I think that's probably one area that we do a good job at.
Finally, one of the really cool parts of this whole story of your dominance is that your kids have been involved in it. Nicola's career really comes full circle. You talk about that amazing goal he scored as a freshman, and then he scores the winner in the NCAA championship as a senior. You won with your daughter, Monica. You have 2 more kids in the pipeline. How great has it been for you to be able to experience this with your children?
Yeah, that's an unbelievable part of these last 3-4 years for me, coaching my own kids. And there's so much emotion going into those games. And everybody out there that's watching their children play understands how emotional you get just seeing your child do well. And this makes it so much more special for me and my wife and my family. But it's not always easy, you know. People only see the winning. The road to get there and sacrifice that everybody has to make in our family is really not out there to be seen. It's not always easy. There are ups and downs. So at the end, everything worked out great. But there is some struggle there, too.
Yeah, well, everything has worked out great, and it's been a blast watching your teams. We look forward to watching the women try to defend theirs at the brand-new Tengzu Aquatic Center this spring. Thank you, Jovan Babic, for coming on Trojans Live. We'll be back to wrap things up on KFWB News Talk 980.
The countless hours of training, the cheering crowds, and the thrill of victory. None of that would be possible without your help. As a proud partner of the U.S. Olympic and Paralympic teams, BMW will make a donation to support Team USA. All you have to do is test drive the BMW 320i, 5 Series, or any of our thrilling vehicles. BMW Drive for Team USA. We only make one thing, the ultimate driving machine.
See a Southern California BMW Center today for a test drive or visit SoCalBMW.com.
You may already know that AT&T is the nation's fastest 4G LTE network. And now independent research has confirmed that AT&T 4G LTE is also the most reliable. Whether you're connecting with family or getting the job done, you want a wireless network you can count on. AT&T, the nation's fastest and now most reliable 4G LTE network. Rethink possible. AT&T reminds you to never text and drive. It can wait.
Speed claim based on national carriers' average 4G LTE download speeds. Reliability claim based on data transfer completion rates on nationwide 4G LTE networks. 4G LTE not available everywhere.
Sounds like that's getting worse.
From mild ailments to something more serious, HealthNet is here for you. We provide affordable health coverage that you and your family deserve. With plan benefits that include doctor visits, prescriptions, immunizations, and even free physical exams, HealthNet gives you peace of mind. Look to HealthNet for affordable health coverage for you and your family. We are your HealthNet.
HealthNet of California Inc. and HealthNet Life Insurance Company are subsidiaries of HealthNet Inc.
Valvoline Instant Oil Change is the home of the drive-through oil change. They understand you're busy and have a lot to get done in a day. You're a Trojan and have places to be. That is why at Valvoline Instant Oil Change, you drive in, not even getting out of your car, and drive out in about 15 minutes. As a proud sponsor of USC football, Valvoline Instant Oil Change would like to give a special deal to all the Trojan fans in Southern California. Visit SoCalOilChange.com for special offers and discounts. That's SoCalOilChange.com.
Back on Trojans Live to wrap things up. It's been fun being back here. We're going to have 5 shows this spring. The next one will be coming up in 2 weeks, Tuesday, January 21st at 6 p.m. We're going to have a look at USC basketball. Keep that rolling. We'll get Andy Enfield back in the show, the other winter and spring sports as well. Thank you to our on-site engineer, James Marcosi. Studio producer was Cornelius Edwards. Director of broadcast operations is Ann Beebe. Executive producer of Trojans Live is Dan Schell. Thank you to the crew here at the lab. For John Jackson, I am Jordan Moore. Everyone, get down to Galen Center this weekend. We got some great basketball. Season tickets on sale for football tomorrow. Fight on, everyone.
You've been listening to Trojans Live, brought to you by BMW, the ultimate driving machine. Visit SoCalBMW.com today to find a BMW center near you. By Valvoline, charge on, but visit Valvoline Instant Oil Change first, home of the drive-through only change, and proud sponsor of USC football. Visit SoCalOilChange.com for special discounts and offers. By Allstate Insurance, mayhem is everywhere. Start protecting yourself from mayhem with Allstate Insurance. By Western Exterminator, providing all-star termite and pest control you can trust for over 90 years. Western Exterminator, the final word in pest control. Trojans Live is an exclusive presentation of Fox Sports West and USC Sports Properties on KFWB News Talk 980.